This kid's got ridiculous power.
The rookie strikes again.
Welcome to the show.
And welcome back to another episode of the AstrosFuture podcast here on the Believe Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Price, also known as AstrosFuture. You can find my work at AstrosFuture.com and find me on X at AstrosFuture.
I'm your co-host, Kenny Van Doren. You can also find me on X at The Vandalorian.
Today, we're going to be joined by Astros 2024 7th round pick, Joseph Sullivan. How you doing, Joseph?
I'm doing phenomenal. Appreciate you guys having me on here.
Definitely. Do you go by Joseph or is it typically Joe?
Yeah, Joseph is great.
Okay, good deal. All right, so I know obviously you put together a really good year offensively, with the home runs, the speeds, everything like that. But this is probably the longest season of your career yet when you look at college or high school to college to this. How have you adjusted in the uptick in games in professional baseball?
Yeah, it's been great. The team as a whole has been great to just allow us to kind of get comfortable and play together. But honestly, it hasn't been too big of an adjustment because from college we go straight into summer ball, and so our bodies are always kind of banged up in summer ball, and like to be able to manage how to play there is something that I've kind of learned throughout my career so far. So it really hasn't been all that bad, but also they manage the workload great on a day-to-day basis. So it's been an easy transition so far.
I want to go kind of deep into your offensive numbers. When people ask me just about you and what I've seen from you is that I talk a lot about the walk rate, your approach. Can you kind of just walk us through that? Because your walk rate's really high. And then there's another question. Why do you get hit so many times? That was something that happened a lot at Single A last year, and it's happened a good amount this year. Can you walk us just through your approach?
Yeah. On me getting hit a ton, I have no idea. I even got hit a ton in college and high school, and I don't even stand that close to the plate. I've talked to some people about it, and they might say presence in the box where they don't really want to throw it over the zone and they're thinking too much. Maybe I don't know. But as far as my approach and stuff, I really am just looking right over the plate, and then I know what I'm looking for, and if it's not there, then I don't swing, hopefully. And it's a hard game, so I try to simplify it as much as I can. But at the end of the day, just knowing what you can handle and then try to stay within that zone.
So I know Kenny mentioned your ability to draw walks, and you obviously bring a lot of power and speed as well. But while relying on your speed, have there been any challenges going from high A to double A in terms of stealing bases? I know you're 4 for 4, but how's that transition been?
Yeah, no, not a ton. Working with Jeff Calhoun and Ricky Rivera, they've been great in a sense of just knowing what to look for in times from the pitcher to the plate, and then also the catcher's pop times. So kind of have an idea of what I'm able to do as far as stealing and when I need to get a better jump or when I can just play it a little bit more safe. But there's not really been a huge difference from high A to double A in that sense. The catchers and pitchers, they both are very talented. So, you got to kind of be smart, but also aggressive at the same time.
So we hit on the walk rate, hit on your speed, and the power is another big thing you have. And coming from Asheville, where it was I don't remember the dimensions, maybe 290 in rider. It's got a high fence, but it's short. And then you go to Corpus Christi, where when you're playing home games, it's extremely difficult to hit the ball out to right. Did you know about that, or did anyone talk to you about that when you got to Corpus?
Yeah, I didn't know that it was such a huge difference from Asheville to Corpus, especially with the wind and it coming off the bay. It is a huge I don't know how many balls are hit out in Corpus a year, but it's not many, I don't think. And then Asheville, obviously having that short wall, it's you kind of have to relearn how to hit in a sense. You have to go backside in Corpus, and then Asheville, it's more you can do pull side on for me. So I've kind of had to adjust my approach a little bit in terms of how to play at the different ballparks. But at the end of the day, you can't really control what happens after it hits your bat. So I just kind of focus on what I can.
Speaking of that move to Double A, we've had guys on here that have talked about Nate Shaver, who was your manager down there with the Tourists. We've heard a lot of just fun stories about those promotions. I mean, was there anything just inside your story when you got promoted? And I mean, just how was that time just
Yeah.
with him?
Yeah, no, it was great. It was kind of unorthodox though because it was right before the All-Star break, and um, Shaver had taken time off to spend with his family, so he was actually not there with me, and he FaceTimed me and told me when we were on the bus back from New York, and so that was a pretty cool time. But before he FaceTimed me, he texted me and asked if I was on the bus or if I was flying back home or not for the All-Star break. And so I was kind of like confused about why he would text me and he didn't answer me for a while. And then he FaceTimed me and let me know. So that was a pretty cool experience. Then just to be on the bus with the guys, it was fun.
So uh, getting to Corpus Christi now, and you see you had the bus ride to New York. Well, I know the Texas League they say is one of the worst when it comes to travel, and you just got
Yeah.
to experience it. You went up to Arkansas for your first away series. How has
Yeah.
that been, and how is that different from like in Asheville? Or I know in North Carolina, there's a lot of teams that are very close. I mean, within a couple hours of each.
Yeah. The Texas League is definitely a grind. I mean, I just got back from my first road trip and it was 12 hours, and they don't do the sleeper buses, so you can't lay down necessarily on the bus, which is even more difficult like the other leagues in Nashville had. But it's definitely no joke. And Asheville, yeah, it was a lot closer. So it's been an adjustment, but it's also fun bonding time with the guys and playing cards and just games on the bus. It makes it enjoyable. So
So the Astros just finished up their 2025 draft, and looking back at the draft, how much last year when you were drafted, how much communication did you have with the Astros, like kind of leading up, and did you have an
mhm.
idea that they were going to select you where they did?
Yeah, I talked to them a little bit, and I went to the draft combine in July. Yeah, before the draft, and or I think it was in June before the draft, and they were the one team I had a meeting with. So I knew that they like acknowledged me and what I could do, but I didn't really talk to them a ton all the way up until the draft. And then my agent let me know like before the draft happened, and it's like, hey, there's a chance that you could, but I mean, you never really know what's going to happen in the draft until your name's called. So I mean, it was pretty cool when it happened, though. It just kind of like set it in stone.
Kind of building off that too. I mean, we kind of hear sometimes that guys still talk to their scouts. I mean, have you, been in touch with was it Landon Townsley was your scout, and have
That's
you,
right.
talked to him just on how far you've come so in the past year?
Yeah, haven't really had much communication with him. I know he's there if I need him, but really we've both been busy on our end, so haven't really reached out to him. But maybe this off season we'll get together or something. So yeah,
Definitely. You got to spend a good amount of games just up with the big league club in spring training. You made some plays, offensively and defensively. But what
hmm
did you just kind of pick up from some of those guys that were a little bit older than you, that were big leaguers, but also more seasoned minor leaguers that you got to play with?
yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed my time up there with them, and just the way they approached the game. Like it was honestly really cool because it's the same game at the end of the day, but they've been around a long time, and so just like their intent and how they handle their business, and yeah, just the way they play is very focused. And I've noticed that all the little details matter in a sense of going to the postseason and win a World Series. It really opened my eyes and to how much really goes on in the game, and so that was really cool. Just to be around such a great group of guys and just very talented. So, and it's cool because it's the same game that we're doing now, and it really gives us a different motivation to kind of want to get back up there with them for sure.
So looking at your childhood, knowing your grandpa and your dad were big into football, how tough of a decision was it for you to kind of end up focusing on baseball?
It wasn't too terribly difficult. I knew I would like to play professional ball, whether that be baseball or football. I didn't know, but I was a little bit undersized in high school, and so I kind of geared toward baseball, and also just like longevity of having like a long career and health wise. I knew that would probably be the safer option. And so then I think it was my sophomore year of high school was when I really decided to kind of go all in on baseball and just to see where it could go. And then I also finished playing football in high school, which I'm so glad that I did finish playing throughout my senior year, and had a blast and left it all out there. And um, so I'm definitely glad I did that. But yeah, just really my size helped kind of narrow it down
Mhm.
um, into choosing what I wanted to do.
We've heard it a lot more like recently with athletes, especially like quarterbacks, how they, picked up a lot on baseball that they've translated to football. Is there anything
Mhm.
just that you picked up from football? I mean, being able to take pitches when you're getting plunked in the box left and right.
Yeah,
What did you
yeah.
kind of just take from football? It's, you can apply to baseball.
Definitely, the physical tool and, just kinda the daily grind of your body wearing down and, just kinda how to play through that. So that's definitely one thing, but also, the footwork in the outfield and kind of, tracking down balls. I was a safety, so I had, to do a lot of footwork drills and hip, like, just kinda rotating and, explosive stuff, and then also a punt return, so that kind of helped a little bit with just tracking balls down. And um, I think definitely everything translates in sports. So hopefully, my kids growing up, I'll put them in everything and just let them kind of play because, yeah, it all translates. So I definitely have seen a little overlap.
I think if I remember right, Kenny, that's why the second center fielder that's mentioned safety to us in terms of football.
Was Joey Loperfido the first
Torpedo,
one?
right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he played or if he just felt he was a safety in center
Yeah.
field, but
Yeah.
it is pretty similar. But Joseph, I want to go back to real quick on your double A. You've been there for a couple weeks now, and you've had a nice transition in terms of numbers. You know, came out, hit a couple home runs early. What
Hmm.
was your mindset going in and getting that promotion to double A, knowing that like the upper levels tends to be kind of that a pretty big step up?
Yeah. For me, honestly, it was a confidence booster, and it's just one step closer to AAA, and then one step closer to the show. And just also for me, having like a deep confidence and knowing that hopefully I could be a big leaguer for a long time in the future. I knew that like it's gonna happen, hopefully, Lord willing. And honestly, the biggest thing is like my faith is what drives me. And so at the end of the day, I just play as hard as I can, and then leave it up to the Lord with results. And that just gives me the peace that I can play with every single day and not really worry about what happens. So I credit honestly all my results to the Lord. But the transition, yeah, I mean it's just the same game, and just the talent is definitely different. But at the end of the day, we just got to play, and yeah, it's been good. I really enjoyed it so far.
So kind of transition to a couple fun questions here, but we know you went to South Alabama, but with your grandpa and your dad, playing and coaching at other big schools, what team did you grow up rooting for?
I grew up rooting for Auburn. However, it was difficult because I lived in Mississippi for about 9 years growing up, which all my friends were Mississippi State and Ole Miss fans. And so I couldn't really decide if I wanted to be a Mississippi State, Ole Miss, or Auburn just because I didn't grow up going to the games just because of distance. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely probably Auburn all the way because of them.
Yeah, there's some people that might be listening to this. I know I loved Auburn. I went to see it in 2022 and Mizzou played there. It is one of the most
Really?
beautiful
Yeah.
cities in the SEC. I'm just building off that as well. Being living in Mississippi and then Alabama later. Who did you kind of root for growing up, just baseball wise? I mean, were there any guys just from the Atlanta
Hmm.
Braves, just in the South, that you kind of rooted for?
Honestly, I never really grew up watching baseball or had a favorite player, a favorite team. I always just kind of was outside in the woods or just doing anything like that. And I didn't really watch a ton of TV either. And
Mhm.
I might surprise you with how much I don't know, but I think that also plays to my strengths in a sense of I
Mhm.
might be playing somebody or against somebody that's like a vet, and I might not necessarily know who they are. So I think that might help, but at the same time, I do need to get better on my baseball knowledge just in the future. But yeah, I mean, I grew up outside, so I never really
Mhm.
had a favorite team or player, anything like that.
This is a question we like to ask guys, and maybe this is one that you can get a little bit more knowledge on if you start watching some other players. But from
For
the guys
sure.
you played with in the system, or the guys you've seen in the Astro system, what's one tool like you wish you could take away from someone else and just apply it to your own
Yeah,
game?
yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Shea Whitcomb's my boy, and just the way that he's able to consistently drive the ball is awesome. Um, and then let's see who else. Um, I love Will Bush, his defensive play, and just the way that he plays with passion. I love that about him as well. So those are probably the two that I'd go with. Bush's passion.
So I know you played in the MLB Draft League in 2023, but was there any cool feeling kind of to being in Williamsport, knowing that's where a lot of kids go and they play the Little League World Series there?
Yeah, no, it's definitely really cool. Just with all the history there, and we ended up going and watching, or not watching a game, but we went and saw the field there. And yeah, it's just a baseball town, and it's pretty cool because all the people there love it. So yeah, it was fun playing there.
Before I get to this last question, I wanted to build off that Will Bush one. Have you seen him yet? I mean, we're talking to you here on Monday. Have you seen Will Bush? Just for those who don't know, he got promoted on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him yet. I think they're coming up here like 10 o'clock tonight. So I was looking at the schedule, and he's in there. Not playing tomorrow, but he's in the group with me. So I'm excited to rekindle with him. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome.
And I got one more
Okay.
follow up I wanted to ask on the draft league. I know you had some
Yeah.
really good numbers in the draft league, and how would you kind of attribute that to like your draft stock? And I know that the summer leagues are really big for playing with wood bats and playing in front of the scouts.
Hmm.
How would you contribute those 20 games of draft league to your draft stock?
Yeah, to my draft stock as a whole, I'm not sure. It was definitely great just to get out there, like you said, with wood bat and playing against good competition. But I don't really know just where I was before the summer and then after. But it definitely helped me a ton. Any publicity is good, and there was definitely some scouts out there watching me, and being a draft sophomore as well up there had helped going into my junior year in college. So I mean, it was fun. It was good experience for sure.
Probably the funnest question maybe you'll get in this interview, but alternate identities. You probably played in some cool uniforms in a very short time. I mean, has there been like any just wacky uniforms through the three levels you've been at that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I was first so confused about the Oat Milkers jerseys in Fayetteville. I didn't really understand that. But then the Harry Potter ones were really cool. We played in Fayetteville. They've got a great thing going on down there with just the fan interactions, and it was such a great experience. Like right after the draft, I loved it.
Have you seen Harry Potter?
I have not seen a ton of Harry Potter. My girlfriend's trying to get me to watch it, but it's just a lot to get into. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hadn't seen it yet.
So speaking of fun uniforms, if they're still doing it, I think they are. And Wednesday, you should get to wear the honey butter chicken biscuit from Whataburger. The Whataburger
Yeah,
uniforms, orange and white.
yeah, yeah. Those are sweet. No, we got to play in those last week. So, I mean, I love the way the minor leagues do it, and they just make it fun. Just with the amount of games that we play, there's always something going on, and just yeah, fan interactions and stuff like that. They make it so enjoyable to do it. Yeah.
All right, Joseph, that's all we got. I appreciate you jumping on here with us.
Of course. No, I appreciate you guys and love watching the Instagram and seeing all the updates. And it's very helpful for me, somebody who's kind of out of it sometimes, but it's great to
Awesome.
get connected.
All right, that's going to do it for
For
today's
sure.
episode. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. As always, thank you so much for listening. We look forward to having you back for our next episode of the Astros Future podcast covering your Astros in the minor league system.